Gluten Free Cooking with Lisa Wilson. Let's cook some pinto beans in my power cooker today. Make sure you wash and clean your pinto beans. You go through your pinto beans just like this, looking for rocks or debris that has been placed in the bag with your beans. Make sure you go through it thoroughly when you dump your beans into your hand, and look through your beans to make sure that there are no rocks or debris. Here I am going through and taking out little rocks or bad looking beans and putting them in another container. And I go through it little by little until I get out everything that I can find, whether it's little stems or sticks or bad rocks or bad beans. And I continue to do this through the whole bag of beans or what I am cooking. This bag holds about 2 cups or 2.5 cups of beans. And here I am taking out bits and pieces. As you can see, you have to go through it thoroughly before you can go much further than this step to make sure, because you don't want to be eating something and find a rock or bite into a rock or bite into a stem or find dirt or loose debris in your beans. Now I am going to take the beans and I am going to wash them, and I wash my beans 3 separate times. I put water in, I take my hands and run through the beans, still looking for debris or rock that wash up on the top of the water, and it gets all the dirt out. And then I continue to do this until I feel the beans have been washed very, very well. And I take my hand and I go around in the water in the bottom of the bowl to make sure there's nothing there. Then I add baking soda, pure baking soda, to my beans and continue to wash with my hands through the bean process of cleaning the beans. After I do this process, I let my beans soak in the baking soda for at least 1 hour to make sure that everything is off of the beans. And I continue to do this until I feel that my beans are clean. And as you can see, I'm continuing cleaning and looking at the beans to make sure there's no debris or no rock that I had missed while going through and cleaning it further. I add a little more baking soda and I let my beans set for about an hour to soak up some of the baking soda. That way that helps in the cooking process, and it also helps the person that eats the beans not to have a lot of stomach acids and gases in their stomach after eating the beans. And I am continue washing and cleaning the beans in this process. And here the beans are setting and waiting for the next step. And the next step, I have my pressure cooker. It is a lot like the IP pots but I like my pressure cooker. It's like an Instant Pot, or it's like an Insta Pot, but it is like a pressure cooker. And here I check and make sure that I put all my beans in the bowl after I drained them from a lot of the water, and I added clean water to my beans and poured that into my pot. And here's the beans in the pot, and here I am looking at my pot to make sure that everything is working, because it is an electric pressure cooker and it's a pressure pot. So I'm making sure everything is working, my lid, and making sure the gasket on my lid fits snugly, and making sure my buttons are all working. And here I'm testing once again my buttons and the cooking time. And then when I done this process, I was almost ready to start my cooking, and then I remembered I needed to add more water into my beans. So I go to my sink and I get 1, 2, and 3 cups of water. Then I return and put my lid on my pot, which is hard to do while you're holding a camera or your phone. So I put the lid on my pot, and I go and I turn it on, and I want it to cook for 50 minutes. So here you go, 50 minutes. And on my pressure cooker, I put it on the stew setting. There we go. Now it is cooking. It is counting up to get the heat just right. Okay, after cooking, I let the steam off, and as you can tell, my beans are done after the 50 minutes. But the process is still not finished. You cannot just have beans with no flavor in them. So here I am checking the beans. They are ready. I am adding bacon grease. You can also add fatback, but I did not have fatback, so I am adding bacon grease and bacon strips to my beans, and I'm stirring it well. And also I am adding some salt and pepper to taste in my beans. And also I go back and I stir this, and I add butter, or whatever you prefer, butter, just a little, not a lot, because some people do not like a lot of butter in their beans, but I do, and my husband does. And I am not fond of beans myself, but my husband dearly loves them. So I add butter for flavor, and then I put the lid back on. Once again, it is hard to put the lid on while you're holding a camera or your phone camera. And I turn my pressure cooker back on. I first thought 30 minutes should be okay. And then I said, no, my beans are already done, so I do not want to do 30 minutes. So let's go and let's do 18 minutes. And that will take off about 10-12 minutes, since the beans were already done after cooking for 50 minutes. So we'll cook them for 18 minutes. And here they are, taking the lid off. I took the pressure off of the pot by clicking the button and letting the hot steam off. I'm taking my lid off my pot, and here are my well-cooked pinto beans. And I'm going to stir them up, and put them in a bowl, and this is dinner for my husband, along with biscuits or with cornbread. Here they are. Don't they look delicious? Thank you for watching my